What up, guys? Welcome again to another episode of Conversations with
Dan
and Josh.
What up?
And well. Today we're diving into some great topics. But if you're new here, you can subscribe, you can turn on the notification button, of course, follow, share, tell your neighbor, even the landlord, even your border guy. But anyway, even side dish.
Going too far. But anyway, welcome to this episode, and today we are discussing the differences between a good marketer and a great marketer. Right? If this is something that you've been asking yourself, something that you relate to, something that you just thought about randomly, in the next couple of seconds, we shall be diving deep into this.
A good marketer. What's a good marketer?
Okay, not really just a good marketer, but for me, I'll look at it from this way. Okay. The difference between a good and a great.
Yeah.
In the simplest of terms, the difference between a good marketer and a great marketer is the ability to count.
What do you mean? They can't count 1 plus 2.
Not counting 1 plus 1 plus 1. No, the ability to measure. Right? By counting, I mean measure. You need to be more holistic. The norm has been with the marketer, especially digital marketer, you have the basics, content and all these things, Yeah. But are you able to measure what you're doing, the impact, right? Things like that.
So meaning, I need to keep count of what we are doing and make sense. Make sense of it. Well, for me, I think good and great, just English. Rest in peace, Elizabeth. But for me, I think it's about execution. That's a big difference. As great digital marketers or good marketers, it's about seeing beyond the day-to-day activities. Most times as marketers, we are expected to do the due diligence, execute, create content, strategize and all these things. But when you have a bigger point of view or a bird's eye view, you're able to direct even when you're not doing. You're more like the puppet master. And that's when you reach greatness. Because you're able to coordinate from content production to budgeting to execution to fighting with the finance to get the monies, everything. Why? Because you have. So I think good marketers can really execute. Great marketers go beyond execution and look at the other factors that affect marketing. As
wisdom has been spoken
in the book of Joshua.
Chapter which one? Okay, but let's get into it. Let's dive into it. So, Josh, what are the things, what are the features, the characteristics, the traits that differentiate a good and a great marketer?
I think for me it's one, budgeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Most times when we are doing content, when we are doing marketing, when we are planning what to do, it's understanding what is the money impact to what these great ideas you have.
What is the cost?
Yeah, because usually we dream big and forget to be realistic. So it's an important gift to actually understand what is the meaning of executing this and the money implications to this. So budgeting down to the basic. Usually there are certain things we overlook, like transport.
Withholding tax.
Yes, withholding as we are doing ads budgets and all these things. So the gift to actually budget for me makes you great, because different stakeholders that will ask for accountability, you have to be able to explain your budget. And they're not your enemies. They're trying to make sense of why we should spend and how we shall. What's the impact on the business?
That's why we spend, because after all, money is hard to come by. Right? Even when you think the company, the client
is big or whatever, at the end of the day,
is hard to come by.
Businesses are there to make profit, and they will always look out on how we can
maximize that. By cutting the cost. So it's good to budget. I think for me the other would be analytics. All right. Again, where I said it's important to know how to count. Exactly. You
Yeah.
need to be able to understand the difference between doing things and then what they mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that comes with analytics. To be able to count the likes, the engagement, the reach, and whatnot, and then make sense of it.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to say, okay, we got 1 million impressions this campaign.
Exactly.
We reached 2 million people. The question is, what does that mean?
And then when you become, and the reason why we really talking about good and great is now you come to look at cost of acquisition.
Yes.
You look at certain metrics that go beyond the vanity,
Just the vanity,
stats.
exactly. You
What
now
is-
start to understand what it costs to bring someone
Yeah,
on
what
board.
is the life cycle of the client that to bring on board? How much will they, spend with us for how long on average?
Exactly.
Net promoter score. So just beyond people engaged.
Exactly. Beyond the vanity, it then helps you create trends.
Yeah,
Be able to understand the trends of your customers,
Yeah.
of your clients,
Yeah.
of your business,
Yeah.
and with that, you're able to make better decisions. Because at the end of the day, as any marketer, you're supposed to make decisions backed by insight.
So
That insight comes from
So that means you're
analytics.
saying that from the analytics, I have to constantly create data points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's how analytics works ideally. Understand the data points, all right? Create, understand them, and then interpret them.
Well, for me, then I would say
Uh-huh.
when you've done the budgeting, whether you're keeping track of the analytics, it also comes down to the magic. the magic.
The salts.
Yes.
The chirungo.
Which is creative thinking.
Exactly.
So a great marketer should be able to think for the why. Why are we doing this? Yeah. How will it impact? So they should be able to predict
Yes.
that if we do this, it will bring this because we are intriguing a certain feeling from our audience. If we make them feel this way, they will
Then
act
the other
this way. So I think creative cuts across all facets. Really.
And for me, that's the thing I was going to say. Many people believe creative is just to the look and feel, graphics. Creative thinking is across the board.
Yeah.
Simple things as simple as this is how we're going to do this.
This is how we're going to respond to
Yes.
a client who is not happy.
Exactly.
Like when a guy comes, hello, let's not talk about power and umeme. But it's like, but for such brands, like maybe you look at brands like umeme that deal with a lot of customer feedback, telecoms, banking, even in that aspect, you have to creatively think, how do we make the client comfortable, even when you are not able to help them in that.
And for that, I think one of the examples that I love, that I discovered very recently, and I'll tag this in the description of the video, is there's a train company somewhere in the Western world, and that people were frustrated with their service. Yeah. And people no longer cared what they did on social media or whatever it is.
So they had blacklisted.
Yes. So what these guys do is they actually hired a teenager as their Twitter handler. And this kid had jokes. So for an entire month, this kid just entertained people on that account. And the thing
sentiment
brought people back.
Yeah, the sentiment
The sentiments went back up, it brought people back. Now that's creative thinking.
Yeah.
So they didn't just,
they
okay,
didn't
fine,
say
we shall
have copy that slaps, artwork that is great,
or change the agency or whatever. It was as simple as hire a teenager who has jokes, who is fun, who is not bothered by the frustrations. Let them add some light, some life to their account.
So the
marketer,
as a marketer, what makes you great is knowing where to apply creative thinking. Sometimes when it's not broken, don't fix it. Just tweak it a bit. And when it's broken, know what to fix. You don't always need to break down the whole house.
It's funny how all these things are tied together, because before you know what you need to fix, you understand the analytics.
Yeah, exactly. So where is the problem?
Yes.
And how do you know? It's because of the numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
And you talk about creative thinking. I think it just dives straight into presentation. I think this is one of the missed skills with very many marketers. It's one thing to have amazing ideas that you can share in your group or whatever. It's an entirely different ballgame to present,
communicate them effectively, please.
Good.
And this is the thing. You can present in a Word doc, in an Excel, in a PPT, in whatever.
You can download a template for
you
this
can
thing,
create a
but
video.
the thing is, you need to understand how to present this information.
Yes.
Who am I presenting for?
One.
That's number one.
Yes.
Two, what do they want to see? And then, how do I keep their attention while I'm presenting?
And at the end of the day, do they get it?
Exactly.
Because
They get
presentations drive action.
Yes.
If it's for vibes,
The vibes can tell you what happened.
so you have to know that after the presentation, what do we want to
Yes, what do you want the people to
actually do? Yeah.
Yes, and this, you'll be shocked at how amazing it is, the impact that comes from having an easy, straightforward presentation.
Sure.
Presentation skills, I feel, is a thing that very many marketers need to have. Not just in the way you present to client, but even sometimes the way you speak and present this stuff.
The way
It's
you
very, very important.
confidence. So sometimes, and it's okay to practice. Yeah?
It's not just okay, it is important
to practice.
to practice.
Yeah, because the thing is, different people have different challenges when presenting.
Yeah.
Others, you're brilliant, you're thinking on a different wavelength, your users are not. So you have to understand, how do I get them to understand?
Yes.
So is it they are more visually inclined? Great. They are more numbers driven? Great. They are more sound driven?
Yeah,
Great.
then you consider things like, what's the attention span?
Yes,
I mean, if someone has attention span of 3 seconds, we're giving them a Word document of five pages.
Exactly.
Don't read that
So
stuff.
just mark it up. Yeah, so think of it as a tweet, really.
Exactly.
So that they get it, and then they
understand,
act on
and then
it.
they can act on it.
I guess, and when you look at presentation, I think why it's also something that as a marketer you should polish on.
Yeah.
Even when you're getting business or clients, beyond even just doing work, when you're getting business or clients, sometimes, actually most times, price is relative. Actually, price is relative.
Yeah.
But things that drive price are dependent on. I got this quote from Instagram, and the guy said, I use these 3 things. Fast, cheap, good. And
what's it called? It's called the Truman's Triangle.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that.
And you pick 2. So if the client says fast and cheap, it won't be good.
If it's cheap and fast,
it's a sad story. If it's cheap and fast, it won't be good.
It won't be good.
Yeah.
If it's fast and cheap, no wait, if it's fast and cheap, it won't be good.
Yeah.
If it's cheap and good, it won't be fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the Truman's Triangle. At some point, you check like, draw it, fast.
Then you understand.
Good.
So
cheap.
Most times it's how we present.
Yeah.
To the client or to a prospect is because sometimes you come off as fast and cheap.
Yes.
Yeah. And you settle for that. And then you end up not delivering because you want to deliver good work.
Yeah.
And that's an issue.
Yeah. So for I think for presentation, it's a very, very big and important thing. It determines a lot how you will be perceived, how much you can actually charge someone.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just the presentation itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Presentation, it just comes out of it and how you are perceived. But then I feel like the other thing is there's the mother of all things that differentiate a good and great marketer, which is the research. Make a research, guys. It's important, very, very important to make research.
Let's not poke any balloons. Yes.
Balloons don't break any eggs. The truth of the matter is that it's very, very good for a marketer to make research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know the trends.
Learn
from others.
You find out what other people are doing. Learn to benchmark.
Yes.
Know that this is what's working. This is how we can adjust. This is how we can make it better.
Yeah.
Or we can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that only comes from actually doing research. So the more research you do, the better you are at making decisions, the better you are at understanding.
The better you are at creative thinking.
Exactly.
And so everything, you learn what to track.
Like a whole cycle.
Yeah.
Where all these different points
research
just feed
applies
into
to
each
each.
other.
Yeah. So I guess after you research, you iterate.
Exactly.
It's
and
a
then
constant journey of
repeat. Because
growth.
the thing is, this doesn't happen only once.
Yeah.
It happens constantly.
Constant.
You're constantly doing this stuff. So, in a nutshell, from our perspective, those are the differences between a good marketer and a great marketer. Do you guys agree with what we just shared? do you feel that things that we missed out
Yeah.
that you
You
want
can
to add?
on to.
Please add in the comments.
Share in the comments. You can also reach us out on our personal handles and just let us know your opinion.
Tell us
Yeah.
what's your handle.
Of
Tell us
course.
that's the handle.
Just Nsimbi Josh. Simple.
Where? On which
Anywhere.
platforms? All of them?
Instagram. That is it.
And for me, you can get me on the handle at Odaka, wherever.
So
We
share
hope
your
this was
opinion.
dope.
Let us
Really?
know. Yeah.
I hope this was good for you guys.
We're feeling good.
Okay, it was good for us. It was good for you guys.
Let us know and yeah.
Let us know in the comments. And
See you
our
on the
socials.
next one.
See you guys in the next episode.